We are living in a world that is just flooded with numbers, with data, with statistics. It can feel a little overwhelming, right? But what if I told you there's a way to find one single number that can tell the story of a whole group? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. So, picture this. You've got a long list of numbers. It could be anything. Prices, test scores, you name it. And you need just one number to sum it all up. That's the challenge. How do you find that single representative number? Okay, so there's a fancy official name for what we're looking for. It's called a measure of central tendency. But don't let the name fool you. All it really means is that we're searching for the center of the data, that one typical spot where all the other numbers kind of huddle around. That's our mission. So, our quest begins with a tool you've probably known for years, maybe since grade school. It's called the mean, but you almost certainly know it by its more common name, the average. The idea behind the mean is actually pretty simple. Think of it as the great diplomat of your data. It gives every single number a seat at the table, from the very highest to the very lowest, and it lets each one have an equal say in the final outcome. And calculating it couldn't be easier. You just add everything up, and then you divide that big sum by how many numbers you started with. That's it. But as we're about to see, that beautiful simplicity can sometimes be a little bit tricky. Let's look at a real-world example. Imagine a group of students trying to pick a place for dinner. Here's a list of the meal prices at different hotels. Most of them look pretty reasonable. So they figure, hey, let's just find the average price. So they do the math and boom, the mean price is $113. But hang on a second, take another look at that list. Does 113 times really seem like a typical price here? I mean, most of the options are way less than $100. So what in the world is going on? Aha, there's our troublemaker. That one super fancy hotel that costs $500. This is what we call an outlier. It's an extreme value that's just way off from the rest of the group. And because the mean listens to every number, this one really loud voice is dragging the whole average way, way up. And this right here shows us the mean's biggest weakness. It's not always the right tool for the job, especially when you have outliers. That one number is throwing the whole thing off. So we need a different plan. We need a tool that can find the true middle ground. And that brings us to our second tool, the median. Now, this is a completely different way of thinking. You see, while the mean cares about the value of every number, the median only cares about position. It doesn't care how big the biggest number is or how small the smallest is. It just wants to find the number that's sitting right in the physical middle of the line. So let's go back to our hotel prices. The most important first step to finding the median has already been done for us. All the numbers are perfectly lined up in order, from the smallest to the largest. The whole process is about order. First, you'll line them all up. Then you just point to the one that's sitting smack dab in the center. Oh, and if you happen to have an even number of data points where there are two numbers in the middle, you just find the average of those two. Easy. So, for our list of 9 hotel prices, the number that's right in the middle is 70. Now that feels much more representative, doesn't it? It tells the students that a typical price is about 70, and it completely ignores that crazy 500 outlier. Now that's a much more helpful number for their dinner plans. Okay, so we have the mean for when our data is pretty balanced, and the median for when we have outliers. But what if our data isn't even about numbers? For those situations, we need our third and final tool, the mode. I mean, just think about it for a second. You can't calculate the average of red, blue, and green, can you? It just doesn't make sense. The mean and median are totally useless here. We're not looking for the center value, we're looking for the most popular choice. And for data like this, you often don't even need a calculator. A quick glance at a simple bar chart tells you everything you need to know. The tallest bar is the winner, plain and simple. And that's exactly what the mode is. It's the value that shows up more than any other in a data set. You can just think of it as the winner of a popularity contest. If a bike company wants to know which color to make more of, they're looking for the mode. So there you have it, our 3 heroes, the mean, the median, and the mode. But knowing who they are is only half the battle. The real trick, the real key to understanding data, is knowing which hero to call for which situation. So here's your cheat sheet. Use the mean when your data is all nice and balanced, like figuring out an average grade for a class. Use the median when you've got those pesky outliers you want to ignore, like with house prices. And pull out the mode when you just need to know what's most popular, like the best-selling t-shirt size. And why does any of this really matter? Because understanding data can literally change the world. The famous nurse Florence Nightingale used these exact kinds of statistics to prove that more soldiers were dying from bad sanitation than from actual battle wounds. Her data was so clear it led to reforms that saved thousands of lives. But even with these three incredibly powerful tools, we have to remember one thing. Sometimes boiling a whole complex situation down to just one number, well, you can lose the most interesting parts of the story. You have to see the bigger picture. For instance, seeing proportions in a chart like this gives us a completely different kind of understanding. It's not about one typical value, it's about seeing how all the different pieces fit together to make the whole. Or a graph like a histogram, this reveals the entire landscape of your data. You can see the peaks and the valleys, you can see the whole shape. It's like having a full map instead of just a single address. So I'm going to leave you with this question. The next time you read an article or see a report that casually mentions an average price or an average salary, I want you to pause and I want you to ask yourself, which average are they talking about? And what might the rest of the data, the full story, actually look like?